So although forensics clears Su Jie, the police are still suspicious of her. At the time of death, Su Jie claimed that she was home alone, so there's really no alibi. They find out that Su Jie has had disputes with Lap Kung over gambling, so there is a potential motive. And Su Jie is still so calm even though there's been 3 deaths in 1 week. Su Jie isn't the only one that the police question. There's Lap Kung's wife and son as well, but they both have alibis. The wife was in the hospital because she hurt herself, and the son was overseas and the cameras on the dock had him on the CCTV. But before they continue investigating who killed Lap Kung, they conclude that Lap Kung was the one who killed Sai Long Sang. They were able to find the poisonous root for the beverage and the jacket in Lap Kung's house. For those wondering, the jacket, the one they eventually find Sai Long Sang's blood on, wasn't disposed of because it was Lap Kung's prized possession. So that's 1 death case closed, and there's 1 more to go. So back to who killed Lap Kung. Now the forensics are able to do an amazing job finding many clues. They find a blood stain that blended pretty well with the background, and through some high-tech simulations, they are able to deduce the estimated height of the suspect, as well as how fast the knife was going and how thick the knife was. Forensics also noted that the type of oil on the victim is a specialized oil used in Japanese knives. Further, the strokes of the knife used to do the killing are knife strokes that require a minimum of 3 years experience. They also find a type of cream on the victim's eyes, but it's nowhere else on the victim. So they suspect that the suspect closed the eye of the victim and then transferred the cream onto the eyes. So this means that the victim probably has eczema. Now with this information, the police pay a visit to Su Jie. They see Su Jie using a knife. Su Jie brushes it off, saying that everyone in the performing arts needs some skills using knives. But wouldn't you know it, in another twist of events, it's Lap Kung's son that the police take into custody. Through the CCTVs at the pier, they note that Lap Kung's son did indeed go overseas, but he came back during the night before heading back overseas. It was his shoes that gave it away. The police also provide more evidence against Lap Kung's son. They found an old post that showed that he is very skilled in using Japanese knives, and his hands that have calluses prove that. He also does have eczema. Forensics come in to show even more evidence. Forensics were able to find a powder in his bite, and this powder was from an unrelated event that happened on the night of the murder. This means that for the powder to get into that bite, Lap Kung's son was not overseas at that time. Lap Kung's son was near the murder scene. At this point, there's no denying it. So Lap Kung's son confesses. He killed his father because his father was fooling around, got HIV and AIDS, and passed it on to his mother. But like Hing Jie, Lap Kung's son had no idea how the tiger head got onto his father. That means that someone else was definitely involved. And it turns out that Lap Kung's son found out about that HIV and AIDS from Man Jie, the same person who told Hing Jie about Sai Long Sang's name change. The episode ends with the police going to question Man Jie, but when they enter, Man Jie is on the floor and Su Jie has a small knife in her hand.